Anger management for an angry kid or kids. Dealing with an angry child can be one of the most difficult aspects of parenting. You might find yourself constantly battling and constantly exhausted after repeated battles that you eventually win only because you hold the trump card, because I said so. But winning a battle of wills with your child simply by tossing your ace on top doesn't leave you with a feeling of confidence in your parenting abilities. After the battle is over, you often feel ashamed of yourself for handling it that way and guilty for showing your child that you're angry. Many of us, as children, are taught that it's wrong to get angry, that being angry is bad, or that if we're angry, we must have done something to deserve it. These kind of mistaken beliefs are what make it so difficult for us to deal with our children when they become angry. So, the first step toward helping your child manage his anger is to understand that it's okay to be angry. It's a normal human emotion. What you need to do is help your child learn how to channel that anger in a more productive way. There are many things in our adult lives that make us angry. Standing in line at the grocery store, mistakes at work, flat tires on the freeway. We need to remember that there are many things in our children's lives that make them angry too, and allow them to feel those feelings of anger, but show them acceptable ways of expressing it. Children generally respond with anger because they feel helpless. Their chubby little fingers can't seem to make that bow in the shoelace, or they can't figure out how to button their coat. They also feel like they're helpless against you. They have to go to bed when you tell them. They have to eat their veggies. They have no control, therefore, they feel helpless. But to understand why one child becomes angry and then quickly skips off to the playground while the other child becomes violent, that takes a little more time and effort, what caused the outburst? The thing to remember is that in adults, our anger seems to be more a genetic emotion. But in children, anger can be triggered by embarrassment, loneliness, anxiety, and hurt. Children respond with anger in these situations because they feel helpless to understand them fully and helpless to change them. It's important to remember that anger isn't the same thing as aggression. Anger is a temporary emotional state caused by frustration, while aggression is often an attempt to hurt someone or destroy property. Let your child know it's okay to feel angry, but aggression is definitely not allowed. Dealing with a child's anger and aggression requires that you first find out what they are feeling. Ask them what happened or why they are feeling the way they feel. But explain to your child that anger is okay, and then let them know that you get angry too, and here's how you handle it. 10 tips for dealing with angry children. Number 1. Acknowledge and reinforce positive behavior. I'm glad you shared your train with your brother. Thank you for hanging up your coat. I like the way you handled your brother when he took your doll away. You were really patient while I was on the phone. Now what is it that you wanted to ask me? This lets your child know that you appreciate and expect positive behavior. Number 2. Ignore inappropriate behavior that you can tolerate. Nagging while you're on the phone can be dealt with positive reinforcement. Thank you for waiting while I was talking on the phone. I'm finished now, so what did you need? And then ignore the behavior that you don't like. Ignore your child's interruptions while you're on the phone. Now, you'll probably say that if you ignore them, they'll only scream louder. But they scream louder because they know they will always get your attention. Ignore their inappropriate behavior, and they'll get the message. Number 3. Just say no. Your child needs limits, and you should set those limits and enforce them consistently. Don't say no all the time, though. Say yes every now and then, when it's appropriate, and let them know why it's okay for this one time. Number 4. Your child needs exercise. When we adults get angry, we sometimes need a physical outlet for that anger. We jog, we take our walk around the block, we go to the gym and hit the Stairmaster with a vengeance. Your child needs an outlet too. Let them run around and make a little noise for a while to let off some of that steam. They're in danger of erupting just as much as you are. Number 5. Also keep in mind that a hug is a powerful emotional band-aid for a child. It's important to keep in mind that you don't always jump to hugging your child, though, to make the anger go away. Hug him to let him know you understand why he's angry and that you take it very seriously. Number 6, show interest in your child's activities. Attention and pride can often make it easier for your child to deal with negative emotions. When he does experience failures and frustration, knowing that you love him and you're proud of him will make these negative feelings much less significant to your child. Sometimes children express anger in an aggressive way to attract attention from their parents. If they already have your attention, they won't need the aggressive behavior. Number 7, use humor to diffuse anger. Humor lightens any stressful situation, even for kids. Don't use humor to ridicule your child, though. Use it to make light of the situation and put it into perspective. I know you're angry at that little girl for calling you names, but doesn't it make you wonder just what a purple jammy jaws looks like? Number 8, when situations change, tell your child directly. If you normally let your child play his drum in the living room in the afternoon and you all of a sudden send him to his room, he's going to get angry. But if you explain to him that you have a headache and that just for today, you need him to play quietly in his room, you can diffuse that anger and also teach him a lesson in compassion at the same time. Number 9, use all your parenting skills. If your child is in the middle of a tantrum that he's unable to stop on his own, pick him up and restrain him. Not only for his own safety, but to let him know that it's okay to step away from the situation if need be. If you have to bargain with your child to get him to stop screaming, then do it occasionally. As adults, we reward ourselves at the end of a long, hard day. Your child deserves a reward too, sometimes. Number 10, most of all, remember that your child learns his anger management techniques from you. If you curse when you're angry, so will he. If you throw things when you're angry, you can bet he will too. And if you strike him in anger, he'll repeat the cycle with his own children. Teach your child from a very young age how to handle his anger, and you'll be better preparing him for his future. Tips for handling your angry teenager. It happens almost overnight. One night you're reading them a bedtime story and they adore you, and the next night they're a teenager and they hate the fact that you even exist. Welcome to teenage anger. You're not the first parent to experience it, and you certainly won't be the last. First, you need to understand that your teen's anger isn't directed at you personally. Teenagers these days have a tremendous amount of stress from sources that were unheard of when we were kids. Texting and Facebook alone are enough to drive anyone crazy, not to mention the physiological changes your teen is going through. You need to handle your teen's outbursts a little differently than you handle your toddlers, though. Let your teen know that, while it's all right to express anger, aggression is unacceptable behavior. And then, stop thinking about yourself. Stop wondering why your teens are disrespecting you. Stop worrying about why they only ignore you. Start putting yourself in their shoes and consider all of the pressures they're facing from school and friends and their own bodies. Once you stop worrying about how they're treating you, you can step back and see more of what they're actually going through. You'll be able to communicate with them, to talk with them instead of at them. Your relationship probably won't be like any of those storybook relationships, but you'll be helping your teens learn how to handle their anger just by showing them how you handle yours.